they sold the body and they were paid £7, 10 shillings, so approximately 510 quid. And they thought, quid's in.
Mind you, I suppose if you cook somebody at a high temperature with sugar, then it's really hard to revive.
And that would be a horrible death.
It's a death sentence.
Hello and welcome back to It's a Death Sentence. It's me, Carrie Smith.
It's you, Carrie Smith, and it's me, Emma Skip.
Today's episode is all about burials. So we thought we'd just sort of concentrate on burials and talk about those because there's lots of information out there and there's lots of stuff we didn't know about burials until we started really doing the podcast and speaking to, do you remember Louise? Celebrant Louise Good. She was telling us about all types of burials you can have. We've recently spoke to funeral directors. They've been telling us about their natural burials.
We liked Sophie from Winston's Wish from that episode.
Yes.
She talks
Her in
about
particular. She talked about
sea burial, which we weren't familiar with, were we?
Yeah, so burial is also known as interment or inhumation.
Okay.
And it basically just means like a final disposing of the dead.
Darling,
technical.
you have kicked the bucket. How would you like to go?
So that's burials. I mean, they date back thousands of years to the prehistoric times.
And I'm going to assume, let's go really graphic straight away here. People buried people because they smell bad. Need to get rid of them somewhere.
Well, yeah. I think the deeper you bury them, well, they say like 6 feet for a grave, don't they?
Yeah.
And that is because of smell, partially. Because if it's a shallow grave, they'll get dug up by predators or animals or
just walking your dog.
grave robbers or anyone.
Grave robbers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So obviously the Egyptians back in the day, they were renowned for their great big or ornate tombs and pyramids.
But also for their mummification. I think I came across a few bits about that today.
Yeah.
My notes, but yeah.
Yeah. But they're really grand, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then you've got your more traditional style, maybe like / religious type burials in cemeteries.
And you've got some really out there ones.
Yeah.
I read about this today and everybody kind of knows about it, but I just thought I'm going to just do a little bit on it. So cryonics is a process, obviously we know, of freezing people, but this is what I found about it because I was like, are people actually doing this? And the answer is yes, they are.
What on
earth?
earth?
No. So it's the process of preserving human bodies at extremely low temperatures with the hope of future revival.
Like Captain America.
I mean, it's super, super sci-fi, isn't it?
Yeah. Marvel.
Would you do it? No.
No.
Oh.
Would you?
I mean, if it became a thing.
I mean, like, you're all getting cryogenic up, so
I don't know. Could you imagine being dead for like 40 or 50 years and then somebody bringing you back to a world that you couldn't recognise?
I can't recognise this world.
We can't even work out how to send a file and drag and drop something.
Yeah, no, I don't want to come back when it's really, really high tech. No.
Okay. So anyhow, so cryonics is the low temperature freezing of human remains, typically around minus 196 so minus 196, in the hope the advancements in future medical technology will allow for revival and treatment of diseases that are currently incurable. So there is some kind of, scientific advancement there, isn't there? So if somebody chooses to be frozen and is carrying a type of cancer that we currently don't know a lot about, could their body be used to, I don't know,
Cure people in the future,
yeah.
If you're fucking loaded. Well, I'm pretty sure it's expensive.
Hang on, we'll come on to that. The process begins immediately after a person is declared legally dead.
So they have to die first? I thought it was like you just go, right, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to go I've decided, guys, my leaving party, I'm going to be cryogenically frozen.
I'm going to do it slowly. I've cleared out my own freezer. I'll start there.
Not that, but
and then in 24 hours, I'll
just pop me onto the...
Yeah. No, I don't think it works like that. It doesn't work like that. So, yes, they must be declared legally dead, Harry. Okay.
Yeah.
With the aim of preserving the body and brain to prevent damage from the ice formation during freezing. Organisations like the ALSOR or ALCOR, I don't know if that's a hard or a soft C, don't know, Life Extension Foundation, have been at the forefront of cryonics and have preserved bodies and heads. This is where it gets interesting, of numerous individuals, including those who suffered from terminal illnesses. As of now, around 199 individuals have been cryopreserved at Alcor. I'm going to call it Alcor. Would you say that was Alcor or Alcor? Alcor. With the hope that future medical advancements will allow them to be revived. The cost of cryopreservation can range from $80,000 for just the brain,
Right. Yeah.
$200,000 for the whole body.
How many? in total?
Often financed through life insurance policies. I mean, this is dollars, so it's all American.
How many people?
199.
I mean,
Well, there's 199 bodies, presumably in America, that are frozen. Well, it actually says individuals, so some of them might just be severed heads.
okay. That is
Yeah.
an awful lot of money.
I mean, yeah.
For
Yeah.
a chance. I mean, like, it's not even a
Free-
guarantee, is it?
Yeah, it is. They're saying again here, the human corpse or severed head with the speculative hope of resurrection.
I
Resurrection. Hope.
hope to win the lottery.
Hope to be resurrected like Jesus.
Like Jesus
I mean, that
H.
might be an
Christ.
edit. But yeah, isn't that interesting? It's so sci-fi. It's so out there. We
Yeah.
need to interview somebody who's like, yeah, I want this in my life. I'll with my death.
I want this in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I just, not for me.
Okay. Right.
Not for me. Not a fan of that. So, I mean, I don't really consider that a burial. That's more like just, I
Well, it's-
suppose it's just a preservation, isn't
Well,
it?
it's
A bit
not a
like
burial,
making jams. I mean, I know that's a weird
Analogy. No, I like
Analogy.
it. I mean, yeah. Although I suppose if you were a jam, you would be more in a vinegar type preservation
jams are
situation.
sweet, darling.
Yeah, but like it's done with loads of sugar in a jar. There's no freezing involved, is there?
No, true.
Okay, so mind you, I suppose if you cook somebody at a high temperature with sugar, then it's really hard to revive
And that
them.
would be a horrible death. So moving on from cryogenically frozen, I mean, this is still sort of relevant today. The size of graves and like the grave goods, like adorned, what are they called? Headstones. And
yeah.
big,
Yeah.
flashy. The
Yeah.
bigger the grave,
Yeah, it's
the
always
more they were loved.
Yeah.
That's tradition. That's
more than we loved, or like
years,
how much
important they were.
important, and the more opulent, it sort of suggested they were more aristocratic and stuff.
yes, and it showed their social status. Is that right?
Because you still have a thing, you still have a pauper's grave, don't you? So if you
Wow.
have a body come to you that is actually never identified, do the state
We
bury
have
it?
lots of people who come who are buried by social services because they've either got no money, no next of kin, or they can't afford them.
Oh, so they
have
might be
like
identified, but they don't have anybody to come to that. That's so sad.
Yeah.
So sad. But then they are, and that's what was commonly known as a pauper's grave, wasn't it?
Yeah. So a lot of them, I think nowadays are
They not marked, or is it just a basic
I
thing
think
with
a
a
lot of-
name?
I think a lot of them are cremated.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
I wonder if that's purely because
Space.
of space, churchyards and graveyards and things. So I suppose they're
They
they're
really are at
full, aren't they?
capacity.
Have you heard of this thing called a charnel house?
Oh, no.
It's like where they used to reuse the graves.
Hmm.
So after years of obviously when the bodies are decomposed, if they dug up to reuse some of the graves, any of the bones that were collected,
Yeah.
they were placed into something called, I think it's called a charnel house.
Okay.
I need to check my sources, but yeah, charnel house, and it's a building or chamber located near a church, and it's used to store skeletal remains. So anything that's dug up,
Ah.
because obviously
Well, it
you've only
makes
got so
sense
much
as well,
time.
doesn't it? It does make sense to kind of reuse the space once it's done
Yeah.
its job, because it's functional. Burial is functional, isn't it? We want the body to decompose and leave the bones behind. And do bones ever fully decompose?
Over time, they would, yeah. I think a long
Because
time.
obviously people excavated, aren't they, hundreds or thousands of years later, and their remains are still found. So, I don't know,
Yeah, I mean,
thousands,
like it would take.
I'm guessing.
I suppose it depends how they're kept. Different types of soil preserve things.
I know down the road here, to tell you this story, very interesting. So there were 3 houses that were bought by a land developer that they wanted to put a nursing home on. They couldn't. So then these houses were sold back, but they're next to the graveyard. And they went and dug up, put foundations, and had to stop all of the work because they dug up human remains, which were hundreds and hundreds of years old, because the church sold off part of its grounds to these houses that were there.
So what did they do with it?
They
Put them in a charnel house?
I don't know. It's a really good. But one of my neighbours actually bought one of the houses. Hers did not have any human
Bones
remains
in the wall.
that she's aware of. Hers is 1920s. The other ones are much older. But yeah, they had to stop all the work. It has to just desist, doesn't it? Because it becomes a crime scene because they don't know. They've got to, although they knew it's next to a church.
Yes,
they've got to identify it. Yeah.
Date them and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, is it, when you're just digging up foundations for your summer house and that happens?
No, that's true. Imagine.
Right, what about Day of the Dead again? I know we've talked about this before, but this is quite interesting because it's the holiday that involves family and friends gathering to pay respects and remember friends and family members who've died. These celebrations can take on a humorous tone. We didn't read much about that before. But when you look at the Day of the Dead, anything to do with like pop culture films and stuff like that, it's all very elaborate, isn't it? But celebrants remember amusing events and anecdotes about their departed, which put me in mind of our Dead Funny episode.
Yeah.
So actually, it's the only thing we've seen historically that, where they
use humour.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly that. Yeah. And also I thought it was quite in keeping with the traditions episode. What was that called?
But it's tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Day of the Dead thing, but I think we probably need to look a bit more into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like me to continue? Have you got something?
Continue, dear, continue.
So this is a bit gruesome. I didn't know much about it.
Oh, it
Never
sounds up
heard
my
of it.
street.
No, yes, probably something you do. Excarnation. That's not a flower that once was.
Or milk.
Evaporated milk. It's neither of those things. Excarnation is the term also known as defleshing. Yeah, I know. Refers to the practice of removing the flesh and organs of the dead before burial. In archaeology and anthropology, the term excarnation, also known as defleshing, you know this already, so it refers to the practice of removing the flesh and organs of the dead before burial. Excarnation might be achieved through natural means, such as leaving a dead body exposed to the elements for animals to scavenge,
Bit
etc.
like the sky burial.
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. Or by butchering the corpse by hand.
So either we leave it for the animals or we just hack at it.
Yeah. Following excarnation, some societies retrieve the excarnated bones for burial. Excarnation has been practiced throughout the world for hundreds of thousands of years. The earliest archaeological evidence of excarnation was in the Awash River Valley in Ethiopia 160,000 years ago.
Wow.
But then it goes on to talk about sky burials, tree burials, and the Tower of Silence, which we covered.
We have talked about that, yeah.
Come on, Carrie, what was the name of the episode?
It
For
was.
listeners that were interested, that was... Yeah, we've forgotten.
Can't remember.
Brilliant. Okay.
It was about traditions.
Yeah.
It? Yeah.
Yeah, same one, about traditions. So, identification of excarnation from the pattern marks on some of the human bones at prehistoric sites. Researchers have inferred that members of the community removed the flesh from the bones as part of its burial practices. Finger bones and toe bones are very small and they would easily fall through the gaps in a woven structure or roll off the side during this removal. Thus, a site where only small bones are found is suggestive of ritual excarnation.
So, like the bodies were excarnated there and then moved? So the
Looks like
fingers
it.
fell through the gap?
Yeah. They weren't very cautious. I don't think they didn't do a bone count.
Yeah.
Do you have to do a bone count?
No.
Oh, I love it when I get to ask you really random questions.
Bone count.
Just in case one.
It's a lot of bloody bones in the body.
What do you do if a little toe falls off?
I mean, like if you
It's
came
got
in with a
really-
little toe and then I chopped it up and I couldn't find it, I'd find it. I'd know it was missing.
What about if it was like really, really decomposed though, and like I don't know, like when you were moving it, just fell off?
Just pop it back on.
You would,
Yeah.
Just do what you got to do. I think.
Just try and stick it
Oh.
back on.
Fell on the floor, better pick that up.
Yeah. Things do fall off.
Yeah, I should think they do.
Yeah. Not nice.
But this is interesting. So, distinguishing excarnation from cannibalism. Didn't think we were going there, did you?
No, but I suppose cannibalism, I'm thinking eating.
Yeah, it's exactly it.
Excarnation. I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking eating.
Yeah, I know, but this is where it's going. Archaeologists seeking to study the practice of ritual excarnation, as in the archaeological record, must differentiate between the removal of flesh as a burial practice and a precursor to cannibalism. When human bones exhibited signs of flesh removal are discovered in a fossil record, a variety of criteria can be used to distinguish between the two. One common approach is to compare the tool marks and other cuts on the bones with butchered animal bones from the same site, with the assumption that cannibalized humans would have been prepared like any other meat. Nice. Whereas excarnated humans' bodies would have been prepared differently. Cannibalized bones, in contrast to excarnated bones, or excarnated, I don't know about pronunciation, excuse me, may exhibit telltale signs such as human tooth marks. Wow. Human tooth marks, broken long bones to facilitate marrow extraction. Because I suppose, if
The
you
marrow is nice,
and it's very good for you, very nutrient rich, apparently. Never tried it. Don't think I have anyway.
Never.
Don't think so.
Come on.
I've got an American friend who really is into the marrow of bones, but not like human ones I'm aware of. So yeah. And then it goes on to say, so to facilitate marrow extraction and signs of cooking, such as, inverted commas, pot polishing. Pot polishing refers to the smoothing and beveling that is observed in bones that have come into contact with the abrasive inner surface of a cooking vessel.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
But that's how they know if it's
you had any experiences
eaten.
with cannibalism?
no.
Not personally. I mean, in your work.
I mean, I'm not a vegetarian, but no. But no.
Wow.
No, I haven't. Thank God.
That would be.
That would be something different, wouldn't it? I did a little bit of research on why we're buried so deep, and we did touch on it earlier. Say that it was like to prevent smells, people digging you back up, but also body snatchers. People used to dig up people from their graves, which I don't know. It became popular due to the increase in medical schools. So people studying the anatomy, and then they were sort of running out of bodies to cut them into pieces and find out about, I suppose, for medical procedures, medical research. And people used to then sell the bodies to medical schools and get paid for it. So I went to Edinburgh.
You're going to say you went to one?
No.
Wow.
I went to Edinburgh and for a friend of ours, stag do / hen do.
All right.
We called it a slag do.
I like that.
I
know you're talking about that.
Yeah, and we went around. We did a graveyard or like a tour of it was really good. It was really interesting. Like all the sort of places of interest in Edinburgh. He talked about famous body snatchers. You might have heard of them, Burke and Hare. You heard of them?
No, I haven't.
From the 1820s.
No.
Now, Burke and Hare are William Burke, and William Hare. And they were known in Edinburgh, in Scotland, but they were originally from Ireland.
Okay.
And they'd come over as navvies to build.
Yeah.
Is it building roads?
Yeah,
Navvies build roads in the 1820s. So they worked on the Union Canal, and Hare ran a boarding house. So he had property and people would go and board there.
Yeah.
He became friends with Burke, and one of his lodgers died. And they took the lodger and sold the body of the lodger to this university professor or somebody, because the lodger had left a debt.
Oh.
So the lodger owed him money, and then
that's how they got the debt paid.
Passed away. So they thought they'll get their money back. They would sell the body to recover the money they owed. So they sold it to a private anatomy school, and the debt that they had was £4. That's how. So back in the day, that was quite a lot.
Quite a lot, yeah.
About £300 today, today's money. So they sold the body, and they were paid £7, 10 shillings, so approximately 510 quid. And they thought, quid's in. You only owed me 3.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So it was
straight down the
too good to be true. Yeah. The money was too good to be true. They thought, this is fantastic, but they couldn't just wait for people to become sick and die, because people don't die every day, do they? So, of course, money is the root of all evil, and that leads to murder.
Oh, right.
So they started killing people, basically,
Wow.
to
So when
to-
you
to
said the
take their
stories about
bodies.
body snatching, I did not think it was going to go down a
Yeah, I
murder
mean,
route.
it was sort of commonplace for people to watch over their bodies of their families, particularly when they were fresh,
Yeah.
because they were worth more money. So these grave diggers used to come and dig the bodies up
Wow.
and sell them to the anatomy schools because they would get paid for it. So it became common practice. Body snatching was common practice. And they had things like watchtowers that were guarded at night, which I wonder if that's where the graveyard shift came from. Saying graveyard shift, working the graveyard shift. And they had things like mort safes, which are like iron cages. And we saw some of them in the graveyard that go over the top of the graves to stop people getting in and getting the bodies out.
Wow.
So they were so concerned and consumed with sending their dead off to heaven or wherever that they used to protect the bodies.
I'm just really interested to know when that practice became null. So when did we stop? When did medical schools or schools of anatomy or whatever stop paying for dead bodies? I mean, when they realised this was a massive problem, presumably.
Well, I suppose people were killing people.
That's
from
what I
it.
mean. So
So
what?
yeah, there was a law that
there must
came
have been,
in.
like, been able to prove that you had claim over this body in some way, like that
Yeah.
you were related or you knew them in some way.
I'm sure there was a law that came in, and the name of it escapes me. But there was some bit of legislation that happened to stop the sale of these bodies. I think they were done through private anatomy schools, and that sort of gave them a bit of a
I'm
bit of an
watching
in.
a period drama at the moment, actually, and they're trying to find this woman's body, and they go to the local hospital, which is where the criminals were taken because they were using it. Actually, it was sort of like it was a really bad thing to happen to you. Not only were you hung, your body's then taken apart by the local medical students.
It's like they don't deserve a burial.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it was really looked upon in such a different way as to how we do now. But they just go in and they just said this person's name, and they, just look on a list. Could you imagine now, like in the world of, so much identification, just being able to turn up to, I'll come for so and so, or I'll take them home.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the red tape you'd have to get through?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bloody nightmare. But yeah, so Burke and Hare, it's believed they killed over 16 people.
Wow.
And then their greed got the better of them, and they fell out over money, typically.
Yeah.
And they got caught. So that was their downfall, really, greed. Crazy.
Now, in keeping with your just talking about watching people, they kept a watchful eye over the recently deceased because they were of more value. I was reading about the word wake earlier, which we're all quite familiar with. We have discussed in other podcasts. So it's the gathering associated with death, usually held before a funeral, it says here, which actually
That's
I don't-
Irish.
Yeah. But we typically
After.
do it after. But the word wake originates from an Old English word, waku, which meant watch, which I thought was really interesting, or keep vigil. So to a team of people, a family, presumably. The term reflects on the historical practice of keeping watch over the deceased between death and burial, rooted in the need to ensure the person was truly deceased to offer the final farewell. But actually, from what you've just said, not just that, but to make sure nobody took them.
That's got to be in the time, sort of when people were declared dead and they actually weren't, like sleeping sickness.
Yeah. The sleeping sickness, the plague.
Yeah. Those sorts of times.
Yeah. Wow, fascinating. You ever heard of something called an eaves drip burial?
Eaves drip?
Mm.
No.
Nor had I.
What is it?
It's a medieval custom in Britain of burying infants and young children next to building foundations in a churchyard. So rather than them be in the actual main churchyard, they were buried very, very close to the structure, to the building. This is going way, way back, so between the 7th and 12th centuries throughout Britain. And I'm just skimming this because it got to, so it's basically, flies all around, typical, isn't it? And in keeping. So the graves of newborn babies and infants under 1 year of age would be closer to the graves. And one of the most consistently, thoughts around this. 'Cause obviously, archaeologists are, that's so far back. So they just have to go on what's been written and what they know about. But it was thought that rainwater would fall from the holy building, the church or whatever, and act as a kind of baptism for these children that may not have been baptized.
Wow.
Isn't that
Do
interesting?
you know what I find funny? That I walk regularly when I go see family. I walk through a graveyard.
Yeah.
And all the children plots, the little plots, are all nearest to the church.
Are they?
So I wonder, and they're all together.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
And they're all
yeah.
nearest to the building. So I wonder
if that's very acceptable, because it was apparently very widely practiced, very widely all over the country for many, many years. But this idea that the water became holy water. And then I think there have been other theories about it, but there's no real way of proving something like that. It's all just a theory, isn't it? Okay, I've got another one for you, a quick one. You heard of a ghost bike?
No,
right? Nor had I.
I've been on a booze bike.
I don't think it's the
It
same.
nearly ended up as a ghost
you're
bike.
dead. Yeah, unless you die on it. Yeah, booze
We
bike.
nearly did.
Was that fun?
It was fun.
Where was that?
In
Also in Edinburgh.
in Dublin.
Dublin. Okay, fair enough. So a ghost bike is a bicycle roadside memorial placed where a cyclist has been killed or severely injured. A ghost bike, also referred to as a ghost cycle or white cycle, is a bicycle roadside memorial placed where the cyclist has been killed or injured, usually by the driver of a motor vehicle. Apart from being a memorial, it's usually intended as a reminder to passing motorists to share the road. Ghost bikes are usually junk bicycles painted white, sometimes with a placard attached and a locked and suitable object close to the scene of the accident.
I mean, you do see on the side of the road, don't you? Memorials where people have been run over.
I think when I've been to different parts of Europe, it's more common that you'll see little shrines at the side of the road and things like that where people have been killed. Don't think we've practiced it here as much, or maybe we used to, and I don't know. But when
I've seen a few,
when I was in Italy, it was quite common on the roadsides where not particularly with a ghost bike. This is just one example, but where somebody has actually died, for them to have a shrine in that location where they actually died.
I think that's quite nice. And it does serve as a reminder, because when you're in a car, I suppose you just think, well, you only think we're not always aware, are we, of people, pedestrians or people on bikes?
No, definitely not.
So yeah, it's nice. I like that.
Yes. There we go.
We're doing all right. Do you want to talk about sea burials?
Yeah, definitely.
So we mentioned earlier that we talked to Sophie Kirkwood from Winston's Wish about her type of burial that she'd like.
Yeah.
And she mentioned a sea burial. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know that was an option. I sort of thought you were going to be thrown out in the sea. I'm thinking ashes.
Navy. Nowhere else but you.
I was just thinking like ashes put out in the water rather than actual bodies. But you can actually have your body. And it involves disposing of the body at sea in biodegradable caskets and shrouds. And it's often done at least 3 nautical miles from shore. And you have to obviously have permits for it, because you have to have permits for everything.
Well, Sophie explained to us there were certain places, weren't there, in the UK that this was possible?
Yeah. So, I mean, I did have a look to see where you could do it. And there are 3 locations in the UK at the minute. The Needles, which is the Isle of Wight.
Right, okay.
Between Hastings and New Haven.
Right.
And off Tynemouth, North Tyneside. And all that information's on like a government website where you can go, because they have to have a marine license for the burial at sea, and you have to meet all sorts of criteria. I was researching it like, wow. Like,
it's quite complicated to do, is it?
It seems complicated, yeah. You have to have like a free from infection certificate.
Okay, because of the water supply.
Because you're going into the water. You have to have some of them ask for a DNA sample, so that if you were ever washed up on shore, they can identify that you're not a missing person, or you haven't been murdered by Burke and Hare or anyone.
The ghosts of Burke.
Yeah, like I think it's a lot. There's a lot of conditions to be met.
Yeah, very conditional.
So yeah, but I thought it was really interesting.
I mean, if you are going to do your will, and whoever's going to deal with your death, like you're annoyed by them, you should probably request a sea burial in a really obscure, difficult place and have some kind of infection
No, because they won't let it happen.
and no DNA sample. There you go.
That's not going to happen, is it?
That's how you leave your legacy to the ones that you don't like.
So you're not allowed to be embalmed. You have to
No.
get permission from the coroner.
It's full of chemicals, obviously. Isn't
Yes,
it?
it's going into the water. You have to use biodegradable material. You have to have a tag around your neck, an ID tag. I mean, what happens if a shark lops your head off? That's what I was thinking, and the tag came off.
I really feel like we need to research this. Surely, at some point, remains have been found by somebody.
I'm sure they have.
Because, I mean, you've got to take that into account. Somebody somewhere might, don't know what the currents are going to do. Like, the sea's really
Well, that's it.
unpredictable.
Imagine if you go and then you walk down the beach later that day and she washes back up. You'd be like, for God's sake, we've just put you out.
Ages.
Yeah. But yeah, it says that you have to be, you have to have a tag around your neck. The coffin must be made of softwood. So you can go in a coffin. I thought you wouldn't be able to,
Yeah.
but you can. Must be softwood, so no veneered wood. And it has specific fixings, so no like plasticky
Can't get
fixings.
sewing like
and-
Asda bags together. Not biodegradable.
No. The weights and measurements are very specific, and you have to have 50 millimeter holes in the coffin.
So it sinks.
I'm assuming so, and it has to be weighted, so obviously it'll get weighed down. At least one in each corner and one on each side, and one on each corner of the lid. It's very.
Go on to Sophie.
So get planning now.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
sure she
this is
knows.
a big deal.
She's
yeah.
researched it, so
Yeah,
she knows. But I did look into it, and then I've changed my mind now, so I'm not going to go for a sea burial.
No, we're going to come up with something really interesting for you.
I don't want to. What's the one where you pull the meat off? I don't want that either.
You don't fancy any deflashing?
No, darling, no, not for me.
Can be done by your nearest and dearest. Really weird. Heart burial. Heard of that?
Art.
Type of burial in which the heart is interred apart from the body. In medieval Europe, heart burial was fairly common among the higher echelons of society, as was the parallel practice of the separate burial of entrails. Bleh, that word.
Bowels.
So it just says slimy, rank shit, doesn't it?
Nothing says shit like entrails.
There's the little that's going on the intro. No, shit like
entrails.
so. Anyhow, sorry, I got really excited about that. The separate burial of entrails, or the wider viscera.
Viscera.
So examples can be traced back to the beginning of the 12th century. Evisceration was carried out as part of normal embalming practices, and where a person has died too far from home to make full body transport practical without infection, it was often more convenient for the heart or entrails to be carried home as a token representations of the deceased.
Oh, sorry, love, we can't drop your dad off, but here's his guts.
Yeah.
That's awful.
I don't know if I felt it was awful about the heart. So I suppose I would have thought, depending on how like religious people are or whatever, that lots of people did think that the heart was part of the soul, didn't they? So perhaps they thought they were delivering home the soul. But the bag of bowels,
I mean,
we could do without that, couldn't you? It's going to stink as well.
Trust me.
Oh, I don't want to even think. Well, not that I don't want to think about it. I wouldn't do a podcast with you if I don't want to think about it.
It does stink.
I bet it does. So yeah, the motivation subsequently became an opportunity to bury and memorialise an individual in more than one location.
Okay, it's just a bit like scattering of ashes, or
and there's obviously a very practical element here as well. So about this, the infection bit, about the body becoming affected, probably in transit or just because they can't keep it cold. It's got to go a long way. Yeah.
I mean, that's just
we're not,
they had a shipping issue, didn't
we
can't deliver the whole body,
like
but
Timu.
you can. You can have a pair of flip flops and a heart, and we'll get the rest to you.
Some entrails and some plastic penis straws.
It sounds like that, doesn't it? Like they had a shipping problem. They created a tradition. What a better way to get out of it. Fucking hell.
Oh, you got
That is
anything else to
hilarious.
tell us, Matraz?
Nah.
So, I mean, should we leave it there? That was good. That was
Yeah.
on
I
that.
mean,
On
I
that
think
beautiful. Oh, I've got a load of stuff about pallbearers because I was so interested in that. Should we save that for another episode? Just because I
can
didn't
do.
know what the word was about and stuff. So, yeah, should we leave it there and come
Yeah,
back
we
to
can
it?
leave it there. I'll tell you what, the only other thing that we went to a funeral directors recently and they were talking about natural burial grounds, which I thought was really interesting and really lovely. And they're a very lovely team, weren't they? The ladies that we met.
Well, what I was going to end on is now relevant.
Okay, so we're going to continue. Sorry.
It's only swap.
We can't shut up.
So these wonderful ladies from A Natural Undertaking, we've got their interview coming up, or is it going to be before this one? Might be before this one. We never know. We never know. But they were telling us about these natural burial sites. But actually, I attended a funeral at one of them recently, and they did something called the Missing Man Formation, which came up in my search today.
Okay.
So it's a fly past of several aircraft done in honour of a deceased aviator, usually in the armed forces, but in this case it wasn't. So yeah, these natural burial grounds, when we got there, it's 3.5 miles from here. It is stunning, like really high up on a hill. Views are spectacular all over Warwickshire. Just really gorgeous. That needs to come out, sorry, Warwickshire. We'll get rid of that bit. Or even the end of it. But yeah, so these natural burial sites. And there's also another one close to here with our friend is there.
Yeah.
And they tend to be in very beautiful locations with really gorgeous views and not kind of creepy and eerie churchyards, which is nice.
And are they normally green burials?
Yeah,
sort of
so it's wicker coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all very natural.
natural.
Yeah. But the burial as in whole is still 6 foot and
Yeah,
still doing all
to the same standard.
Yeah.
There's something quite nice. I mean, I think we have moved away from burials
I think so.
as a generation,
And I
but
think-
there's something for me quite nice and sort of impacted how I felt about that. Going to speak to the lady undertakers about how natural burials can be so beautiful and individual. And for me, there's something nice about going back to the earth.
I totally agree. I really agree. I think the only thing I've found, and I have talked to a couple of people about this, is when it's somebody you know, you always feel differently. So you will always feel differently.
Like leaving them there.
So that was I had a bit of a thing about that for a while, a few days after. I was like, we've all left, but they're still there. Whereas cremation has such finality, doesn't it? It's so
Yeah. I mean,
you go back and get the ashes and then you scatter those or you keep them or do whatever you want, or you tattoo them into your body or make jewelry or whatever you want. But with a burial, you know that person's body, regardless of how you feel about spiritually, how you feel about them being there present in their body or the soul has moved on, whatever, that body of that person, you know, is going to decompose in the ground. And I found that really scary.
yeah.
It really surprised me actually how it made me feel.
Yeah.
It kept me awake at night.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'd feel leaving my loved one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then if it's their wish, that's a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because some people like that, having somewhere to go. Maybe I'll have the entrails buried and the rest burnt.
And you can do it in your
Have a mix.
home. So perhaps you can have your entrails at your house.
I was thinking
your heart.
yours.
No, I wanted the heart.
No, you can have the shit.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, there's a little space over there by the trampoline. I've got a memorial for my mum by the hawthorn bush. So
Oh,
there's room there for your entrails.
absolutely lovely. Well, Julie would be very happy with that.
Well, I mean, she liked you. So I don't know if she just wants your entrails or not.
Bless her.
On that cheery note.
Yeah, I think I'll do like a half and half, maybe. Half buried, half cremated.
No one can see where you're saying half. So she's going
This
waist down. Right, who's having
That
the
can
top
go.
bit?
I'll burn this.
Because I felt half and half should be that way.
Oh no.
So
Not
literally,
middle.
yeah, if you're going to share your body with somebody, like people that want to keep you, they all get a bit of your head, an arm, and a leg. Whereas your suggestion
I'm just like in the middle.
somebody just gets your bum and vagina and knees.
Yeah, those bits can go. And they could burn this bit and make something relatively nice out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Like a waxwork. Well, that was a very interesting episode. And
Thank you so much for listening. And we dive, we sort of go off topic again. But thank you.
Thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in to It's a Death Sentence. Please keep listening to our weekly episodes.
And if you like our show, please like, share and subscribe.
We are dying to talk to you.
It's a